Councilmember Simpson,
Present.
Councilwoman Simpson.
Here.
Councilmember Wilson,
Here.
Councilmember Brantley.
Here.
Councilmember Decker,
Here.
Councilmember Linton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Councilmember Wilson, can you lead us in the invocation? Councilmember Simpson, can you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? This is something new for me. All the years I've been here, and I've never known this part of it. I'll give it my best shot. As we all gather tonight, we should all be very thankful and appreciative that we live in a country where we're able to assemble like this. Even though there may have just been disagreements on some of the things that are out there, at least you can come forward and speak about it. That's one of the greatest things that goes on in our country. And with that, I would like to thank God for the ability to be here and for us to be able to move forward. Thank you.
Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you, Councilmember Wilson and Simpson.
Sorry about that. Thank you. We'll move on to item 4, proclamations and awards. Item 4A, we have a proclamation for Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month. I believe we have someone here this evening to receive it. If you come on up to the front, and I will deliver the proclamation. Nice to meet you. All right, thank you. A proclamation. Whereas sexual violence affects all people, regardless of geography, race, age, ethnicity, gender, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or economic background. Whereas freedom from sexual assault is a basic human right. National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month is an important time to speak out, stand with courageous survivors, and finally change the culture that has allowed sexual violence to exist for far too long. Whereas the mission of the Resource and Crisis Center of Galveston County, Inc. is to promote the safety, well-being, and best interests of victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, child abuse, and human trafficking, and to advocate for the prevention of such crimes. Whereas RCC advocates on behalf of clients through services, resources, and life planning strategies, and by motivating others to assist towards prevention. Now, therefore, I, Sean Skipworth, Mayor of the City of Dickinson, in the great state of Texas, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Sexual Assault Awareness Month. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of Dickinson, Texas to be affixed this 11th day of April 2023. Thank you for everything that y'all do. Appreciate you. Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item 5, announcements and presentations. Announcements concerning items of community interest. No action will be taken or discussed. Council member comments regarding items of community interest in accordance with Texas Government Code, Section 551.0415. Item 5A, council comments. We'll begin with Councilman Linton.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, everybody for being here tonight. Trying to shorten my my council comments a bit, so I'm leaving all the astronomical updates off. I attended the IT infrastructure meeting with All Covered, along with Councilmember Johnny Simpson. It was a good first meeting with them towards the improvement of the city's infrastructure. And also looking forward to seeing with Mina, System Administrator Mina, comes up with. And as I've mentioned before, I am here to help as a free engineer. If the city ever needs it, you need to call me on the weekend to pull cables or whatever you need. I'm always here to help in that regard. But I am not part of operations. Also, I took a day off from work so I could have a meeting, get a couple of things done with the city. I had a meeting with Theo to discuss several items, to get kind of updates, statuses on various things affecting the city. Then I met with Public Works Director Alexis Santiago. We drove around town. That was something I'm going to try to do at least 4 times a year. That was very informative. I got to see where the money is being spent, the project, status on the project, kind of, the visual aid is much better than just reading it on the PDF file, which has increased to 312 pages this week. The other thing I also did was I met with Keith Morgan, the superintendent of WCID 1, so I could see the water facilities in the city. After I was elected, that was the first thing that I wanted to see, the city infrastructure and how the water system worked. And that was very interesting when we drove all over the city and saw all the facilities. He also showed me Fire Department 1 as well as 2, met a couple of the EMS guys. Derek Hunt wasn't in, but I'm gonna call him later. And also it was good talking with the fire department and EMS to kind of figure out, where they're at and what their needs are and what they think their needs are, in the future. And so that was also helpful. I also stopped by the Bayou Animal Services Shelter to donate some items and make them aware that I would be adopting a dog soon when the time is right. And I just wanted to let everybody know, those who came up to me after the last meeting, I had to euthanize my dog of 13 years about 30 minutes before the last council meeting. And I know there's not an attendance requirement, but I took an oath and I feel that I should be here. I was emotionally compromised and I apologize for that, even though I know nobody's expecting an apology. And also I was so upset that I got sick that night and I had to leave the meeting early. And I just wanted to thank Councilmember Simpson for walking me out to my truck. It's about 50% thank you and 50% I felt like she was helping the old guy out to his truck. So that was the part I didn't like. And you council members stay off my lawn. I assembled a list of, I had talked to some restaurant owners around the town since I got elected, and heard a couple comments about, when the city has various functions and catering, and didn't know if they were on a list or if there was a list of all the restaurants in town. So what I did is I took it upon myself with a little bit of help from Harrison, Director of Finance, and assembled a list of all the restaurants in town. And then I've started calling all of them to see who is able and interested in catering so we can have a comprehensive and accurate list. I figured it was just something I could do to help the city out. So hopefully I did not overstep my bounds. But anyway, that's all I had. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next is Councilman Decker.
Thank you for all of you that come to this meeting. I have 2 things. The state did a lot of work. They're still doing it on Highway 3, and it's been the best thing to go through there. No problem, single lane each way. I was very much impressed. The other thing is the city street sweep up the leaves. That works great. People are very happy to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman Brantley.
Good evening. Thanks for everybody's here. Thanks for everybody's listening in online. Just a couple of things this week. Had an opportunity to attend the Higher Up Texas Honors Awards ceremony several nights ago. That's a great program. So look into that. Donate. It's a fantastic program at the high school, Higher Up Texas. They do a great job with those kids. Also, I wanted to once again thank each one of the individuals that are currently running for city council. Thanks for putting yourself out there. I can tell you it's tough, but thank you. Thanks to each one of you. I know there's several here tonight. So thank you very much for taking that step and getting involved. So So that everybody's aware, early voting starts April 24th. Election day is May the 6th. So, and then lastly, staff recognition this week, talking to both the city manager and the assistant city manager, Chase. He's here somewhere. But this week I'd like to recognize Stacy Gonzalez. Stacy takes care of all of our facilities here. I was talking to him with Alexis one day last week, I believe it was, and I think he said that, Alexis, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think in the past month he said that he had changed over 200 light bulbs. So he does a great job taking care of this facility and all of the city facilities. So he's not able to be here tonight. Unfortunately, he injured himself. And so wasn't able to be here, but thanks very much to Stacy for all that you do. So with that, that's all I got, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Councilman Wilson.
I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight, and I would like to amplify the sentiment from Councilman Brantley about everybody that's running for office. It's a lot harder than you think, and getting elected is a lot harder than you think too. So get used to being, having your friends, talking nice about you right now, because when you get elected, the atmosphere changes quite quickly if you don't agree with exactly everything they want. So it's a challenge for anybody that's doing it. Good luck. If you win, good luck even more. So thank you.
All right. Thank you, Councilwoman Simpson.
Thank you to the citizens, all that are tuning in online and here in the chambers joining us. I really appreciate your input and your presence as always. The Dickinson Historical Society invites you to join us for a night of wine and roses at the KC Hall next Friday, April 21st. We hope that you buy a ticket to help the Society maintain their mission of preserving Dickinson history. You can purchase tickets on their website, dickinsonhistoricalsociety.org. Last week, I also had the pleasure of attending the second annual HUT Honors Banquet. HUT stands for Higher Up Texas. It's a wonderful program that began here in Dickinson that essentially teaches life skills to young adults. Congratulations to Matthew Ketching, class of 2020, who was named Volunteer of the Year for giving over 400 hours of volunteer service to Higher Up Texas and his community. The Dickinson Youth Action Council will be hosting a Summer of Service Youth Kickoff Summer event with music and food trucks, along with some vendors to connect teens and youth to community service opportunities. This event is planned for June 2nd. There are more details to come. Finally, don't forget to check out the information on the city election, the water district election, the COM bond election, and the Dickinson ISD bond election. All of these entities have information on their respective websites, and we hope that you'll take the time to learn more about each of the candidates and the bonds on the ballot. Thank you. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Simpson.
Thank you, Mayor, Council, city staff, citizens, welcome. Glad to see you all here tonight. And welcome to those who are watching online. Since the last city council meeting, I had the opportunity to attend Little League opening day and give the opening prayer for the Dickinson Little League, and also a park bench dedication to, forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong, Jackie Hillenkamp, a longtime volunteer and parent for the Dickinson Little League. Also attended the opening day parade. It was an interesting sight to see and enjoyed it thoroughly. That's all the comments I have for now, Mayor.
All right. Thank you. We'll move on to item 5B, the city manager update.
Mayor, Council, thank you very much. There's a couple of things I wanted to keep everyone updated on. First thing I wanted to let everyone know about is that the Hughes Road project, which is largely funded by our CDBG MIT grant, is we're finalizing the 90% submittal for that. Also wanted to make you aware of the our ARPA funding. As you remember, we were doing several streets there. The low bidder was Environmental Allies and was approved at the March 28th meeting. And we had our pre-construction meeting with the contractor, grant administrator, and the materials testing company on April 3rd for that one. And also you guys approved we also approved several street paving projects throughout the city. So what to expect is over the next several weeks, the goal is to have all of the streets in phase 1 completed by May 31st. And then coming near the back end of May, we'll be coming in with phase 2 to, kind of take whatever funding that we can put together in round 2 and do a second set of streets and provide that to you guys very soon. Alexis is working on that second set of streets as we speak on the asphalt paving portion. Real quick, we have a couple of appreciations. The National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week is this week, and so I just wanted to take a moment to thank. I know that our officers are very grateful for our dispatchers. They are a lifeline to our officers. They are the eyes and ears in a lot of ways of situations that officers end up responding to, and they're sometimes the people that make sure our officers don't get into hairy situations. The other thing is that it's also Animal Care and Control Appreciation Week. We've taken in 416 animals this year. 296 of those animals have been adopted out to their forever homes. And along the way, of those 416 animals, 96 animals were returned to their homeowners. And also, I would take this moment to remind everyone of the Black Tie Texas Gala, April 29th. And I would love for you to come and support BFF, Bayou Friends Forever. They do great work. Support our animal shelter, April 29th. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
Okay. We'll move on to item 6, public comments. Members of the public are invited to give comments at this time, lasting not longer than 3 minutes. Comments may be general in nature or may address a specific agenda item and should be addressed to the entire council, not individual members of council or staff. Any speaker making personal attacks or using vulgar or profane language shall forfeit his or her remaining time and shall be seated. In compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, the city council may not deliberate. We do have 2 comments this evening. The first one is Tammy Steenbarge.
And Mayor, I just want to make a comment for Tammy or anybody comes up. I'll be keeping the 3 minutes on my time here. So when the 3 minutes comes, I'll let you know.
Got it. My name's Tammy Steenbarge. My address is 5109 Casa Grande Street. First, I'd like to start off for everybody at home or in the out here. There's a candidates forum. It starts at 6:30 tomorrow night at the KC Hall. It is hosted by the Dickinson Chamber, sponsored by JJ's Car Wash, and will be moderated by I-45, and we hope to see everyone there. Second, I was just thinking about what you said about y'all impose rules on us, and we're going to set a 3-minute mark for me, and y'all pass ordinances for these cities and ethics for yourself, but it doesn't appear that y'all live up to these same ethics. Right now, I have documents with with Mr. Brantley's, with your company that you're a vice president of, but you're also a project manager on these. You're also on the EDC. And it's left up to speculation because there's no conflict of interest for anybody to know. And it makes people wonder when you see this and y'all know it's out there and no one says. Someone said last night, all someone has to do is say, hey, this is what's going on. But when no one does, when y'all sit up here, and you may not deliberate, but you may deliberate later when you circle around and attack the citizens, because that has been done by you, Mayor Skipworth. I mean, when are y'all going to start being what y'all have written down and what y'all expect from us? I mean, I think that's only fair. I mean, all of us want to just, we want a nice town. We don't want everything taken over and controlled. People get kicked out of places, change avenues, and everybody's afraid. Everybody's afraid. I'm sure there's employees work here that don't like things that are going on, but they're probably afraid to tell anybody because they don't want to lose their job. There's no employee survey done. You were going to do that a long time ago. You ran on that. It's never been done. That's not fair to employees. You know, come on, man. We can do better, all of us. We have all at one time had relationships that are just being ruined. I mean, I have people calling me asking me, am I crazy?
Okay, that's your time.
Thank you. And next we have, is it Vicky Sizemore? Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Good evening. I've been a resident all my life here, graduated here. I'm 72. I've lived in the
Hold on,
same
Mike.
place.
The mic. Hold on.
Oh, can't hear me? Oh, I'm sorry. Anyway, the water company, which I know will probably come back around to y'all again, but had cut down my trees.
Ma'am,
With
can you,
not my
can you
permission.
state your address, name and address for the record,
It's
please?
Vicky Sizemore Walthall.
Thank you.
Okay, 4500 Nevada. I live in the historical district. Anyway, they cut down some very expensive trees without my permission. They were not given permission to do this. The only thing they had permission for was to cut the overhanging that was over in the water department side. But they came on my property and cut down my trees. This one right here is like 60 inches in diameter. We just measured it. And it's a cedar, and this is an oak. And this one right here is worth about $10,000. Okay, that's not counting the oak. I haven't done it all, but I know that I have to take this to the water company too. But I figured it'd come back around for y'all to vote, you know. So that's my main problem right now, is that my trees were cut. I love my house. I mean, I love where I live. I'm from here since I was little bitty. You know, I had a horse that where the water company is right now, actually. And we used to burn trash right there. But anyhow, that's my main concern, is that I love my trees. And I can't believe they did this. I cannot believe that they cut my trees. I just gave them permission, just overhang, you know. And I mean, I've got more pictures and all, but I understand I have to take it to the water company, probably on the 17th. I think they convene then. But I know it's going to come back around to y'all. And because y'all vote, you know, where the money goes. And I'm very upset about it, very upset, because I've lived here all my life, and I lived in the same spot all my life. And I was a real estate agent for 35 years, so I'm not just up here just talking because I'm an old woman. But I do want something done about this. Plus, they even took in a little bit of my property, which the man said that he would move back the fence, run some little green stuff through it or whatever, so I don't have to look at the water company. But anyway, that's what my main concern is tonight, is about these trees. And I will go to the water company on the 17th. That's it. Thank you for hearing me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Move on to item 7, the consent agenda. The following items are considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion. There will not be a separate discussion on these items unless a council member requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed after the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
There's a motion approved by Councilman Simpson, a second by Councilman Wilson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll move on to item 8, public hearing and action items from public hearing. Item 8A, conduct a public hearing concerning City of Dickinson, Texas Comprehensive Plan 2045. We'll turn it over to the city manager to kick this off. I will go ahead and we'll go and convene the public hearing at, I don't have my watch, 7:25.
Mayor, council, thank you very much. I'm going to have our Halfin associates come up while I'm speaking, and they can speak on, they're going to give a short kind of a 5-minute overview of kind of where we are and to give some public comment opportunities in regard to the comprehensive plan. We've had many citizen-driven meetings already, and so this is our opportunity to have the public hearing portion. So is Halfin, who's yep, yeah, come on up. Yvonne, is there anything you wanted to start off with before?
I don't think so.
All right, sounds great. Well, I'm going to turn it over to you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for the opportunity to speak with you. I'm Jackson Marvel with Half Associates. We were hired by the city a little over 2 years ago to update your comprehensive plan. For those unfamiliar online, a comprehensive plan is a planning document which assesses critical infrastructure, city land use planning, city budgets, profitability, city services, programs, safety, and environmental concerns, all in a packaged plan that the city can use as a strategic document to move forward. Oh, no. Okay. You guys were all provided a PDF of all of the chapters and Appendix A within your agenda package. This is the final draft of the comprehensive plan. It is primarily split up into 4 different sections. Chapter 1, starting with an introduction, which summarizes existing conditions of the city with a lot of mapping analysis. And it also provides you with all of the public feedback. So we had a community survey, multiple public engagement events. So that is summarized in the introduction as well. And then chapter 2, the future city, provides you with 9 specific goals, along with over 100 strategies and recommendations that the city can implement. And then chapter 3 provides you with benchmarking techniques and ways that the city can ensure that these recommendations are being implemented in a timely and efficient manner. Then finally, Appendix A is a really detailed analysis of the city's existing conditions. So this includes a economic performance and parcel by parcel profitability analysis conducted by Urban 3. So as discussed, Chapter 1 includes the existing conditions for the city. So it explains sort of the planning approach, past efforts that the city has done, past achievements, overall demographics, and just providing the reader with a sort of framework that the recommendations are based on. Chapter 2 then is the bulk of the goals and the recommendations. So goal 1, a vibrant community. This includes a new land use, proposed preferred land use plan, as well as strategies for infill development, creating an active downtown. Goal 2, placemaking, is really about community branding and place identity. So that includes like gateway signage, an arts program, potentially public art, banner signage, things along those lines. Goal 3, economic performance, is based on creating local and regional attracting spaces, spaces where residents can economically participate in the community, as well as regional participation. This also includes strategies to best implement your TERS districts. Goal 4, growth capacity, ensures that as the city continues to grow and as infrastructure continues to age, that it is replaced in a timely manner, as well that the infrastructure stays safe from flooding, so reducing the budgetary impacts of flooding on the infrastructure as well. Goal 5, neighborhood character, focuses on housing and the character, the makeup of sidewalks, streets, and housing typologies within your residential districts. So this includes some recommendations like promoting different types of housing for seniors, for people who are renting, for single homeowners. Goal 6, environmental stewardship, proposes some strategies to reduce those impacts of flooding. So that would be potentially rain gardens, different ways to implement some of your drainage infrastructure, ways to reduce flood inundation impacts on residential infrastructure. Next, Goal 7, a city of parks, proposes specific locations or ways to implement parkland and the importance of that within the community. including ways to include Dickinson ISD and the Dickinson Community Center. Goal 8, mobility, complete corridors. This is where we propose a new future thoroughfare construction plan. We also propose a series of sidewalks, a series of trails, and other active transportation infrastructure. And then we also propose a utilities replacement plan as well in map form. Lastly, goal 9 is intergovernmental coordination. So this is where we propose that the city creates potentially new commissions. That could be a public arts commission. It could be adopting a percent for the arts program. It would potentially an entity that oversees and benchmarks the profitability of the TERS districts and how to best manage that. And then finally, we end with a conclusion and value proposition. This really takes into account all of these specific goals and the analysis from the existing city and pairs that with more of a budgetary type of mindset. So we took Urban 3's analysis of all of your city's parcels and really had a end vision and sort of a paragraph at the very end of chapter 2 that states sort of how the city should move forward, why all of these recommendations are the best path forward for the city. Then finally, chapter 3, this is a very short chapter. It's just a few pages, and it outlines sort of what are the city's roles in implementing the strategies and recommendations, what are the commission's roles, how should you best, benchmark and ensure that things are moving forward, and how to best work with a capital improvement program on an annual budgetary basis. Lastly, Appendix A, existing city report. As previously mentioned, there was a number of analyses done on the city. Here is a list of many of them. We looked at your existing land use and proportions of land use, vacant parcels, the age and location of utilities infrastructure, where that may need to be expanded in the future. We looked at the types of housing and types of neighborhoods. We looked at, affordability metrics, livability metrics. We also did the assessment of mobility. We looked at your existing traffic counts, the number of lanes, roadway replacement, and then also the amount of community resources and the overall local economy. So figuring out where are the restaurants, what is the level of service for grocery stores, how is Dickinson Public Library and the Dickinson Community Center involved in overall community planning and community services. So in the end, we hope that the Dickinson Comprehensive Plan 2040 really sets a sound basis for the city to move forward, be financially sustainable, and provide a great quality of life for the citizens of Dickinson. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have no public comments on this item, so there's no need for a rebuttal. So we will adjourn the public hearing at 7:35 p.m. We'll now go to item 9, executive session, consultation with attorney. Discussion with attorney regarding contemplated pending litigation and regarding matters protected by attorney-client privilege. Item 9B, Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.074, Government Code Personnel Matters. Consideration and possible action concerning the employment, appointment, removal, or evaluation of a public officer or employee, to wit, the police chief. We will adjourn into executive session at 7:35 p.m. Action items from executive session. There are none. So we'll move on to item 11, adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion adjourned by Councilman Wilson, second by Councilman Linton. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned at 8:18 PM. That's why I gave it to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.